Hello everyone, welcome to today's analysis. It's the 13th of September and we finally had a week's close after last week's massive dump. So great to have a look at what's happening and possibly what can we expect going forward. So jumping right into it, the Bitcoin chart on the weekly scale. It's now forming a red 2 on the weekly scale. That is after last week's candle, the red candle closed lower than 4 weeks ago, which was 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see lower than that, and therefore it ended up as a red 1. That is not great, but what's very interesting about this drop is you can see it went all the way from the resistance all the way to the support and perfectly bounced on the 21 moving average, 21 week exponential moving average. One thing to note though that is not looking too great on the chart at the moment is the dropping volume. As you can see, the volumes are dropping, so we are going to need to get the volumes up if we want to push past those areas at some point. On the weekly, on the daily scale, you can see this massive red day that we had. It was absolutely ridiculous. I think what was that? That drop was 18% in a day. That is quite serious. It ended up closing above the 200-day moving average, which was positive, and then sort of hovered around it. Now it's sort of broken below it, and it's now sort of really trading below it. That's not great. You can see that it is making sort of lower lows, but there is higher lows on the RSI. Now that is a bullish sign. So maybe that something can happen like this. There's a drop here, and then come back to retest the same area, just to make sure that those guys that missed out on this opportunity now have the time to buy back in before it goes back up. That is one option. Of course, around this area is where that 21 moving average is, so it's going to get very critical, in this green box, that you don't want to go below that green box, because after that the support is becoming quite weak. XRP on the weekly scale did follow, of course, but it followed with actually even more ferociousness. XRP dropped by 35%, also came back to the 21 moving average. So kind of the same price action, just a little bit more exasperated. Same scenario, forming a red 2 on the weekly scale. That's not really, you can see that as a sell signal if you want. Red 2 really wanting to go below the red 1 is one trading strategy. But yeah, for now, I think it's a little bit difficult to say exactly where things are going to go. I've had to read on the daily scale. I've had to redraw this triangle that I had, sort of 2 weeks ago, because it seemed quite relevant. With the XRP, it sort of broke out and did exactly what it needed to do. Pushed into the resistance zone and really looked like it wanted to push out and above. And then, of course, this massive candle came down and then pushed back up. And that is I think that is the 200-day moving average on XRP. On XRP, of course, you've got a series that now sort of looks at, if you look at your closing prices, they are all in the same sort of region. You can see that the RSI is moving down. That is a sort of bit of a divergence. But then also you've got a higher low with a lower low RSI and the stochastic at the bottom. So those are positive signs. You definitely want XRP to stay above this area. After this, the target is back down to this area here, 88 cents. And well, could be a good area to buy. Of course, if it had to break below that, you know, it would be the same scenario as Bitcoin, all the way sort of back down, maybe to lower prices down here, looking at 50 cents or even lower. One of the things that you need to look out for is this S&P. As you can see, the S&P have been formed a daily 9 perfectly sort of at the top, and is now busy with its downward trajectory to this green box. I've adjusted this green box. My green box was all the way down there. The cycle analysis people that I follow have also adjusted their green box up. So maybe another few days of downward pressure, maybe, you know, another 2% or so. Now that is a lot, because already the S&P has fallen only basically 2%. So more downward pressure on the S&P would potentially push crypto further down. As you know, that I've sort of gone in 60, I think I was 60% there, and then or 70% at this 60% when we broke out. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. I think 60% when we broke out there, and then 70% on that retest. When we came down to retest down here, I was actually overly bullish. I thought this was just a pullback, and I went in 80% in my position, and then I completely got wrecked in this process. I didn't sell out when we got there. This happened too fast. I mean, I was just watching the price go up and down. And anyway, like I said before, my target for this box would have been down here anyway. So I wouldn't have sold here, because that would have been my buying position. So I don't think, well, I know that I haven't played this one that great. Would have been, you know, should have been a safer bet here at about, you know, being 50-50 at this position. I think I got caught up a little bit in all the FOMO that was up last week. And so just like everyone, I also got caught. Yeah, maybe just quickly onto the Bitcoin funding rate. You can see that the funding rate is now back sort of net short again. So that is exactly what we want. We want the shorts to be overwhelming, so that there can be some sort of a short squeeze at some point. As you can see, lots of shorts there, eventually a squeeze up. Yeah, so that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or follow us on Twitter at Xago.io.